name is Madison, and this is my channel. Welcome back, or welcome if you're a first-time viewer. I am a knitter in New York City, and I also make other things, but today I just want to talk about knitting, purely a knitting podcast. I'm going to go through a few FOs, some whips, some plans, some acquisitions related to plans, and also some like fails. I have some things I'm ripping out, and I just wanted to share those. All of February I've been knitting my little heart out, so I just wanted to share where my making brain has been at, and that's what I'm going to do today. The last few videos on my channel have been a little bit of a different format, which has been really fun to just try my hand at that kind of creative expression, I guess. So I haven't done just a sit down, knit focused podcast in a while, and I'm excited to do that today. Would love some feedback. If you, have a preference either way, I'll probably just continue to do whatever feels right when I'm making the video, but yeah, I really appreciate your comments, and it's very encouraging for me to hear your feedback and to hear about what inspired you, and that in turn inspires me to keep going and keep making these. I am really trying to show up here in a consistent and like regular manner. Filming myself does not come naturally at all, so it is a bit of like a mental challenge to get myself to get here, but I really enjoy just sharing with the community and experiencing the community in this way. And I'm so appreciative of you for being here and liking and subscribing and commenting and all those things. It's been so fun. I've created like real life friendships from this channel, and it's fun. All of that to say, thank you. And let's talk about some knitting, I guess. To start out, I'm wearing what have become like my go-to staple hand knits this winter. This is the Lumu cardigan by Gudrun Johnston. It was in a Lina issue that came out last year. I'm not sure if it's available on its own yet, but it is one of my favorite knits of all time, for sure. I knit this out of Jamieson's 2-ply jumper weight and Biche Bouche silk mohair. And I think I would love to do just a DK no mohair version someday, and this shawl is the Vice Versa shawl by BZB Knits. Bridget, I tested for her last spring. I'm not sure, but this has become one of my go-tos. I wear it around the house all the time. I live in a very, very old building that's very drafty, so it's usually like a scarf and like hand knit socks anytime I'm home. And yeah, it's out of some Pearl Soho good wool, which is one of my favorite sport weight yarns, and some hand spun. And I also want to knit another version of this. I've been brainstorming like color combos and things, but I'm thinking, this might be getting ahead of myself, but I have so many things that I want to cast on, and so many things that I've been thinking about in terms of knitting projects, and I'm trying to save the accessories and more like smaller portable knits for when the weather warms back up again, just because I know it'll get really hot and I'll just feel like I'm sweating all the time, and that is not the time when I want to be knitting a like full-blown sweater. So I'm trying to resist the urge to cast on like hats and scarves and stuff right now, and just save that for my summer knitting plans, but we'll get there when we get there. So let's start off with some finished objects. This first one that I am going to show you I actually finished in December, and if you watched my Vlogmas, then you've probably seen this, and it's my Pressed Flowers Kerchief by Savory Knitting. It's a free pattern. Highly recommend. This was very addictive, very easy to memorize and just knit on the go. And it was done in a flash. I knit mine in Durham Natura Gilead, and is the black the main color, and then the white is Isiger Alpaca. Now I'm blanking on which one it is, but it's a chainette construction. It's very, very soft, and it really bloomed nicely, and I really, love this combo. It's been a great scarf to have throughout this winter. It's been absolutely frigid here in New York this winter. I feel like we had an entire month of like below freezing temperatures, and it was just, I think the coldest winter we've had in a while. Which was nice to have like a real winter, but it was frigid. I will of course have everything, all of my Ravelry projects linked below, so feel free to check those out for more details. I usually always include my needle size and yarn and like any kind of notes that I want to remember in there. So I believe I sized up my needles, and I did a bunch of extra repeats too. I just made it however big like I wanted to. So it's kind of like it's almost like a small shawl size, but I can wrap it around my neck and like tie it in the front, which is what I wanted. And it's nice and thick and warm and soft. I also want to knit more of these. I am having a lot of like wanting to knit repeat things. And I would really love to do a version of that kerchief in like a fingering or sport, like lighter weight. So that's something that I've been thinking about. But again, I'm going to save it for warmer months when I know I'm not going to be wanting to carry around a sweater's quantity. I find the black and white to be very wearable. I'm trying to also really think about the colors that I'm knitting with in like an intentional way in terms of it fitting into my wardrobe. I love color, and I love to knit with, you know, more pinks and like these bright colors, and sometimes it's like a really fun knitting experience, and then because of the color of the yarn, I'm not always drawn to wear it once it's done. So I'm just trying to be more intentional and mindful about my making in general, and the color is coming into that. And the last finished object that I'm going to share with you today is my Billie the Raccoon from Moosh and Friends. He's so cute. Look at his tail. I still need to like stitch it all shut, but he is stuffed and ready to go. This took me way too long for what it actually needed to. I had this on the needles for far too long, so I just am showing him to be like, I did it. I finished him. And I want to knit him a little sweater, and I have Hazel the squirrel also that I want to knit a little sweater for. I had originally intended to gift these to a friend who had twin babies, but I was just like, babies don't, I don't know. It was just like, I don't think a baby is actually going to care too much for this. And I had put the safety eyes in, and I was like, I don't want to take the safety eyes out and embroider eyes on. So I ended up knitting my friend 2 pairs of little baby mittens, and those have gotten a bunch of wear this winter. I've gotten many pictures of the twins in their little matching mittens, and it's very cute. So I think that was a much more functional and useful gift to give for the babies. But these are cute, and they have become my little like desk friends. So I just keep them propped up on the shelf by my desk, and they're just watching me work all day. The Moosh and Friends patterns are extremely easy to follow, especially if you feel really comfortable with magic loop. It's all written for magic loop. You can obviously use DPNs or, other methods. The only tedious thing about the pattern is that it is kind of a line by line situation, just because each section, you're moving through each section, it's all different, and so you kind of have to keep track of where you are. But I think the book does a really nice job in kind of breaking out different parts. So I would knit the head, probably take a break for a couple days, knit some of the body, do the arms. You can kind of like break it up into these different chunks, which I think is really nice. It just gets kind of tedious because it's such small needle sizes, and but they're cute. I find that these are also really nice for scrappy bits of yarn. They don't really take too much yardage, and I've just used whatever I had lying around for both of the little animals that I've made so far. This guy is in sport weight for the body. It's a gray, I think it's like an old Magpie Fibers sport weight that I had lying around from a previous sweater project, and the black and white are both Santa's Garn Sisu, I believe. They're like sock yarn. I will definitely be knitting more Moosh and Friends, but probably going to take a break for a while, just because they are tiny and tedious. Now on to some fun works in progress. I'm excited to share these. First, I'll share my test knit for Goodwin Johnston. I signed up for this kind of on a whim. Had been seeing her tease it on her Instagram and her podcast, which I am loving, by the way, but was telling myself like, oh, I can just wait until the pattern comes out. I don't want to sign up for a test. I have a lot of other whips that I'm really excited about. And then kind of sat on it for a day and then was like, you know what, I'm just going to sign up because why not? So the test is for her Audrey and Unst vest, which my yarn is on the darker side, so it's going to be tough to see. And it hasn't been blocked yet, so it's all kind of condensed. But the kind of main focus point of this pattern is this lace in the front. And it's just a really nice vest, kind of cropped. I am knitting size 5, which should give me about a 40-inch bust circumference. I wanted something with a little bit more ease than what was recommended in the pattern, just because I've been, again, trying to be mindful of what I've been making and trying to take note of the things that I actually wear versus things that I am not as drawn towards. And the sweaters that I've made that are around a 40-inch bust circumference, 40 to 42 probably, are the ones that I gravitate towards, just because I prefer the more like oversized, comfy kind of fit. And I know that doesn't work with like across the board, it depends on the shape maybe of the sweater, but that's just what I've been finding. So I was like, I'm gonna do a 40-inch size 5, and I did a little try on this morning after I joined the shoulders, and I'm really liking the fit. I had a moment when I was knitting this of like, oh, it's kind of looking bigger than I was expecting it to. Is this gonna be the right size? And I think it's gonna be perfect fit. I'm excited to get the armhole ribbing done, and then it'll just be the button band and like the neckline, and I'll need to find some buttons, and then I have a whole vest. And I think this is gonna be really wearable for spring. I'm excited. So I started it a couple weeks ago. I've been really focused on this and have really prioritized knitting on this one because it is a test knit, but also because I have another vest that I want to cast on, and I'm telling myself I need to finish this vest before I can cast on that other vest. I am knitting this on a US size 3 needle, which is, I sized down one kind of across the board from what the pattern calls for. I swatched twice actually, not to toot my own horn, but I was really careful to make sure that I got gauge. The pattern has been extremely clear, which I feel like is what I've come to expect from Gudrun's patterns. I haven't been steered wrong, and it's just been really enjoyable. And I'm knitting it with Jamieson's of Shetland Spindrift, which is one of my favorite yarns for sure. The color that I'm using is called Earth, and I'm not sure how well it's going to come out on camera right now. It's a green with a lot of brown in it, so I find that in some lights it looks really green, in some lights it looks really brown. So yeah, I think it'll be really wearable. I have like a black and white check gingham skirt that I want to wear it with this spring. Going back to like the thinking about how it's going to fit into my wardrobe, and I can see this just being really functional and really wearable, and I'm excited. So hopefully next time I will have this done and I can wear it and show you, and it'll be really cute. Speaking of Spindrift, I have another Shetland and Gudrun actually project going. This project hasn't gotten much attention in the last couple of weeks since I've been working on the vest, but prior to that, this is all I wanted to work on. And I'm excited to get back to it. Now that I'm so close to being done with the vest, I am ready to kind of like refocus on this project. And it is, I don't want to drop any stitches. This is my Porty Cardigan, which is a pattern by Gudrun Johnston. And she has a pullover version as well. You can see the steek stitches down the middle. So once the body is all knit, I am gonna cut it up, which I'm a little nervous about, but I think we'll be okay. I'm all done with the color work, and I'm so happy with how the colors turned out. I talked a little bit about this in not my last video, but the video before that, my last kind of like podcast update. And all of these colors are from Stash, and the gray is actually from Stash too. The gray is a cone of Jamieson and Smith 2-ply, and then the colors are Jamieson's of Shetland Spindrift. So this gray is what I used here in this cardigan, and I've still got a good amount left on this cone. So I'm hoping it'll get me through the rest of this sweater. But yeah, all of these colors are from my stash, just kind of one-offs that I had lying around, and I'm really, really happy with how the color combo has turned out. I am also knitting down a needle size from what the pattern calls for. It must just be a difference between me and Gudrun's tension gauge. I've found that for not all of the patterns that I've knit of hers, but for a few of them where I need to size down from what she calls for. And yeah, so the color work was knit on a US 3, and now I've switched back to a US 2, which is what I will knit the rest of the main color body with. I was kind of in between two sizes and decided to go with a larger one, I believe, just because I wanted to have that extra ease for wearability and like comfort. So I am excited. I love a colorwork yoke. After I finished my festive doodle last fall for Rhinebeck, I was just like craving some more color work and was kind of holding off on starting another colorwork sweater, and had the Porty in the back of my mind as something that I want to knit for a while. And going into this year, I was just like, you know what, it's time. I need another colorwork yoke, and I flew through it. Like, I just feel like it went by so fast. I really do love colorwork so much. So yeah, that's my Porty. I'm really, really happy with it, and also happy to be working from stash. Feels good to, yeah. Feels good. Let me just quickly share the colors. So these are the 4 colors that I'm using in the colorwork. Kind of stuck with 2 families, like pink and blue, and then a light and dark of each. So this one in the middle kind of looks black, but it's blue. It's a very, very dark blue. It's called Cosmos, and then I don't know the names of the other ones. I'll try to find them and put them in my Ravelry though. My last whip was kind of a spontaneous cast on this last month, and it's a sock. And I've been making good progress on it. So you can see I made it really long, or at least it feels really long in the leg, and then I don't know, halfway through the foot. I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again this episode, but have been thinking a lot about functionality, wearability, working from my stash, and I think this is hitting all of the markers. Was just looking at my stash, you know, admiring my collection, and saw these 2 blues next to each other, and I was like, you know what? I would love a blue sock, just single stripes, and then a dark blue cuff. So this blue cuff is actually a sport weight navy. I used this for my Alpenglow sweater 3 years ago now. So, and I have just like the littlest bit left. So I thought it might be good just to use it for the cuffs. And this light and cobalt blue are also leftovers from other sock projects from over the years. And I'm really, really enjoying how these are turning out. Ooh, it's like yarn chaos coming out of here. This lighter blue is Sandnes Sisu, so that's their sock yarn. I believe it has some nylon in it. And then this is 100% wool. What's it called? Brown sheep yarn, maybe? They're in Nebraska. I know that. I bought this at Yarn Barn in Lawrence, Kansas. And it's very soft, and it's just been a good fingering weight. It's been really fun to just knit stripes. I'm doing jogless stripes. So basically I knit with, I guess you can see here, I knit with a color until I come up to the last 3 stitches of the previous color. I drop that color, slip the 3 stitches, and then start knitting with the next color. And you just kind of go around and around, and it creates these really nice jogless stripes. I will be sure to link the tutorial that I used from M to the Third in the description box below. So definitely check that out if you are wanting to do some jogless stripes. I've never done like helical knitting, but I think it's the same concept. So it's always, you know, fun to learn something new. And then also another new aspect that to me in this sock is this heel construction. It kind of looks like a Flegel heel, but it's called a strong heel. It was pretty straightforward, and I think I'm liking it so far. I obviously haven't finished the sock, so I don't know how the wear is gonna be. I have not vibed with the heel flap and gusset, although I feel like one of these days I'm gonna become obsessed with it. So I'm just like waiting for that moment. But I've been using a bunch of short row heels, so like the Fish Lips Kiss heel and the Shadow Wrap heel, both of which I really like, but sometimes I'm not sure that the fit is exactly how I want it to be. So I'm still kind of, you know, trying to find my perfect heel construction. So this is called the strong heel. It seems to be very similar to the Flegel heel, just reversed. Although I don't know. I don't know. I've only done the Flegel heel toe up, so I actually have no idea. I was going to say something about it cuffed down, but I have no idea what that entails. So I'm going to stop myself there. And there's gusset increases, which you can see here, and then you do short rows in the back to turn the heel. And that's what I was left with. So it looks kind of funny, I think. I think it would be really nice if you were doing a completely solid sock, or, you know, you didn't have a contrast little heel turn. So yeah, we'll see. But I've been enjoying these. They're kind of my like on the go knit. I'm not always working on them every day, but I have been trying to be, you know, consistent with them in the background. And I will definitely report back on how the strong heel goes once I finish the sock. I have been trying to stick with my 3 whips and keeping that number as just 3 whips that I'm working on. I find that if I have any more, things get left behind or forgotten. So those have been the 3 whips that I've really been focused on all of February. And I'm trying to, you know, I'm not trying to speed through any projects, but I am trying to remain like dedicated and consistent to my projects so that things do get done eventually. You know, I'm not knitting to like see how many knits I can produce in a year or anything, but I have just been feeling like I start things and things languish, and then I kind of like lose the momentum or the enthusiasm for them. And so I'm just trying to like make sure I see things through. And yeah, so that's where my whips are at. I have plans. I've mentioned some plans earlier in terms of like where kind of high level I was thinking my knitting would go this year. And yeah, but I have one for sure plan coming up as soon as I finish. I think once I finish my Porty cardigan, then this will be the next thing that I'm going to take on. And I kind of alluded to it, I think, again, a couple videos ago, but it's the Agnes dark cardigan, which I've swatched for. I'm so excited. I had told myself that so basically the backstory of this cardigan, and I will put up a photo of the cardigan. It's really gorgeous. There is a light and a dark version. The backstory to wanting to knit this cardigan is Corinne of the Woolly Thistle knit it for her Rhinebeck sweater last fall. It's very gorgeous. She did the light version, greens, pinks, and then Sarah of Fiber Trek started talking about doing an Agnes or a Viola Designs, which is the designer, knit along throughout the entirety of this year. And she is knitting a version of the Agnes Dark, but I believe making it a pullover and subbing out colors, and you know, she has her own modifications going. And so yeah, I was just like, this cardigan is so gorgeous. And again, after finishing my Festive Doodle, which was an all-over Colorwork pullover, I was just wanting that kind of level of project again. I love Colorwork, as I've said. I was so drawn to the colors of the Agnes Dark with the brown and white as like the main body, and there's pinks and greens and blues and a whole array of colors. I don't think I've ever taken on a colorwork project with that many shades. I think there's like 15 or something. So it's kind of a crazy amount of colors. I'm gonna have to really keep track of things. But so anyway, I was thinking about this cardigan, which is like, oh, I really want to join this knit along, but I have things going on. And then I saw that the Woolly Thistle was selling kits for both versions of the Agnes, but the dark was sold out, the one that I wanted. And my birthday was this last month, and so I kind of, was telling myself, okay, if the Agnes Dark kit comes back in stock before your birthday, you can treat yourself to it for your birthday gift to myself. So I think it was like 2 days before my birthday, I got an email notification that it was back in stock, and I have never bought anything faster. I immediately logged on and was like, buy. So now I have all this yarn. It's all Rama Garn Phenol, which I have not used before, but I've heard amazing things, and just from the swatch that I knit, I am very, very excited to work with this. So this is how, I just knit a little like cuff. I can't remember how many stitches I cast on, but just did this on DPNs for my little swatch, and I'm liking the fabric that I'm getting. I think I should look at my notes again. I made my notes in Ravelry so I wouldn't forget, but my gauge is slightly off. I think it's, my gauge is a little bit larger than what the pattern calls for, so I am going to size down, and then based on my calculations, I should get, I think I was wanting to do the 3rd size, but I'm going to do the 2nd size, and it will give me the circumference of the 3rd size. So, math. I actually really enjoy knitting math. I know people hate math in general, but just a tidbit about me. Weaving math, I think, is really fun. Knitting math is fun. Yeah, once I finish my Porty, I think I will let myself cast on this cardigan. I did buy the ebook, so which I can also link below. The pattern is sold on its own in Norwegian, but not in English. So the English version is within an ebook from Viola Designs. I bought that, and there are so many pretty patterns in it. I have a feeling I will be making a few things from this ebook over the years, and so I thought that was a good addition to my library. I don't want to take the yarn out of the plastic because I don't want to lose anything yet because I'm not ready to start the project, but I do want to show you. This is all from the Woolly Thistle, and it's all Rama. So, hopefully you can kind of see through the plastic. This is like all of the main body. There's a kind of goldish brown up in the top, and then the rest is the brown and white. And then this is all of the colors for the color work. So there's a lot to keep track of for sure. And I'm very excited. There's this mohair. I think it's held with one of the colors. I am trying to decide if I actually want to include it or just leave it out. I feel like I'm kind of wanting to, I think, leave it out and just have it all in wool. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Last little details is I did swatch with the recommended needles, and then yeah, I'm adjusting what size I'm doing based on the gauge that I got from that. versus changing up my needle size. Stay tuned. I'm just so excited. I mean, maybe I'll wear it to Rhinebeck this year. I don't know. I think it's gonna take me a while, or maybe it'll be really fast. I don't know. I do seem to like really get zeroed in on color work, and it goes faster than I always think it's going to. So we'll see what happens. The other project that I'm very excited to cast on is the Cocoon Chokki by Noriko Ichikawa. It's a vest. I'll put up a photo, of course. A pullover vest, kind of like oversized, cropped. I think it's just a really nice shape. I have a handful of patterns by her that in my queue that I want to make, and so I thought I would start with a vest. I want to use some very special yarn that I purchased at Rhinebeck last year from Tidal Yarns, and I think my yardage might be cutting it very, very close, so I might have to crop it a little bit or something. I'm not sure, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I need to swatch still, but that is going to be next in line as soon as I finish my Audrey and Unst vest. So yeah, I'm just imagining myself in my like flowy skirts, vest, and I think it'll just be a perfect springtime outfit. Yeah, I just have so many things that I want to make. I'm excited. So all of that is hopefully coming soon. Last thing I want to talk about is a few knitting fails, and I just wanted to share them because just to share that not all of my ideas are a success, not that anyone thinks that they are, but trying to be transparent and show the ups and downs maybe of making. It is a bummer when ideas don't pan out exactly how you imagine them. I've shared bits of these projects previously, probably a long time ago. I just didn't want these projects to completely like fall off the earth and then for me to never talk about them, and then there'd be this like, oh, where did that one project from that one time go? And the truth is that it's been sitting under my desk waiting to be ripped out for months and months. So that's what I'm going to show you today. And I have two sweaters that I am in the middle of ripping out. This one This one was sad to do. I was so excited about this because this was for the Sibling Energy Sheep Camp cow that they did last year, and I kind of spontaneously cast on with this yarn and some hand spun, which is all the color work. It just didn't work. Gauge was too off. It was turning out like absurdly huge. Wasn't going to be a good fit, and all the yarn was too good to waste. So I had actually knit, I don't know, at least a few inches of the body. Like I had separated for sleeves, was knitting the body when I finally decided that it just wasn't going to be how I envisioned it. And I've ripped back up until the color work. So I've actually, kind of reskeined everything from the body and soaked it to get that crimp out of it. And that's all, ready to be used again in the future. But I still have to go through this yoke, and I've kind of been just not in a rush to rip it out and deal with all of the color work. The hand spun bits are actually of quite a few different skeins that I used, and so there's kind of a whole variety of lengths of yarn going on here, but so yeah, I just wanted to share my failed sheep camp. This main color yarn is something that I bought at Rhinebeck a few years ago, and it's a Corriedale woolen spun, and I think this is like my second or third attempt to knit with it in a sweater, and I just have been knitting it at the wrong gauge, must be, or something, but it's just been nothing's panned out with it so far, and I love the yarn so much. I think it's gonna make a really fabulous sweater, but I just haven't found the right project for it yet. That's the story of this. And then similar situation of yokes being too big. This sweater, which I started, I don't know, a couple years ago now. I was not living in this apartment when I started this sweater, so that's how I know it's been a while. But same kind of thing, just trying to knit at not the right gauge. Sizing isn't working, and also the colors. This is like the lowest contrast Colorwork of all time, and it's just not something that I'm like vibing with anymore, so I'm ripping it out. But this is Newtoden, so it's all unspun. Luckily it's held double, so it's a bit easier to rip out than held single. I've tried to do that before, and honestly I gave up because it was not fun. Held double is doable, and I forget what color this is, but it's a nice like dark brown, and I have a few plates of it, so I think this could be a really fabulous sweater on its own as well. And then I know this like brown, or like this blue and the pink are, I had smaller quantities of it, so just want to use that in a different way. This was going to be a kohlrabi sweater by Savory Knitting, which I think I would still like to do, but in different colors, different yarn, you know. Same story. Same story for this one. These have both been sitting under my desk, and every now and then I'll feel the need to like rip some yarn out, and will make some small progress on ripping these out. I just wanted to like share some things that didn't pan out, because while I am excited about so many things that I'm working on, there are things that don't work. Ooh, you know what just popped into my head is like a single strand pressed flowers kerchief in Newtoden. That could be kind of fun. I am feeling kind of drawn back into the Newtoden world. I shared, again, 2 videos ago, some Newtoden that I purchased in December, and I have plans for both of those. I'm wanting to make a pullover and a cardigan, and so that is also kind of in the queue of things coming up. My knitting has been a really relaxing and rejuvenating place to be. I don't feel like I need to say anything more than that. I hope your knitting is treating you well and keeping you safe and comforted. Thank you again for being here, for watching. Your support means so much to me, and I really appreciate you subscribing or commenting or liking. All of those are really great ways to support me and this channel, this project. I have one announcement. It's exciting for me and hopefully exciting for you. I have recently become an affiliate for the Woolly Thistle, so that means if you shop through the link that's below, I'll put it, you know, down where all the links are, I get a small kickback from you shopping through that link. It's no extra cost to you, just another way that you can support me and this channel. And if you love woolly wool, I love shopping the Woolly Thistle. It's a great place to get you know, really beautiful wools and natural fibers. So that's down there. It's available to you. If you choose to use that, I would be forever grateful. Otherwise, I am trying to be cool with Instagram. I'm trying to post in a way that feels right for me. So you can find me on Instagram as @MadisonMontees. I'm also posting some on TikTok when the mood strikes, also at Madison Montees. Otherwise, you can stay here and we can hang out on YouTube, which is honestly my favorite place to be these days. So thank you again. I'll stop rambling, and I will see you next time.